Make sure you know these things before moving to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Hi, my name's Colin Boyer, your Pennsylvania and Maryland Realtor, and today we're going to be talking about what things should you know before moving to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We help a lot of clients relocating to the area or relocating from not too far away if they're already living there, but just kind of, testing their options on where they should move. We help clients move from 3 weeks, 3 months to 3 years down the road. If we can help you out, send me a text, send me an email, or schedule down below in the link in my bio so that we can book a consultation call through Zoom and figure out how we can help you relocate to this area or anywhere in Pennsylvania and Maryland. And now let's get into the video of what you should know before moving to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. They purchased this property and completely re-renovated everything. It's Colin Boyer, your Pennsylvania Realtor, over schools here in York County, Pennsylvania. So number one, we're going to talk about the weather. So if you're coming from an area that is warmer, let's say you're moving from Texas or you're moving from Arizona, you're moving from somewhere that you're used to the warm weather, we are a 4-season area. We've got spring, summer, winter, fall, we've got all of it. So it can get pretty chilly. We can get a little bit of rain. We haven't gotten as much snow through these years, but snow is a big possibility. You do get the weather that you're going to be having to shovel your sidewalks, shovel out your cars. It also gets pretty humid here in the summers and in the spring whenever the weather starts to get a little bit warmer. So if you're used to just being warm all the time and always being in the sun and not dealing with a lot of rain, or let's say you're moving from Seattle where it rains all the time, you're going to have all 4 seasons. You're going to experience just about everything, and you're going to have to get used to the different changes in the weather. The next thing is going to be traffic. So if you're living in Harrisburg, the city area, not one of the towns that branches off that we're going to talk about a little bit later in the video, you're going to be dealing with a significant amount of traffic if you are in the city. Whenever 9 to 5 hits, get ready because you're going to be going through those city streets and those downtown areas, having to make sure you're staying in one of a couple lanes, making sure you're in the right lane to be able to turn, and you're going to be kind of fighting traffic if you're not making sure that you're getting somewhere early. If you've got to be somewhere at 9 o'clock, make sure you're planning to get there 15 to 20 minutes early because you might get swallowed up in the traffic with everybody commuting into Harrisburg from Maryland, Lancaster, or York County. The next thing to know is if you're talking about Harrisburg City, you've got to talk about the crime rate. So Harrisburg does have a little bit of a higher crime rate compared to some of the other areas. Can't tell you whether it's a good or bad area as a realtor. I can recommend that you can look up the different crime rates, and it's going to be just like your other towns and cities. You're going to have areas that you have a little bit of a higher crime rate, and you're going to have areas that are wonderful and you really don't have to deal with any of the crime and you're pretty much set. It's like a lot of other cities, but Harrisburg gets a bad rap by a lot of people who aren't very familiar with the area. There's certain places where you're going to have a little bit more crime and those higher crime statistics, but it's not going to be like every street you go on or you can't drive through the area. You've just got to do your research, especially if you're looking to move into the Harrisburg area. So that kind of leads me into our next topic, which is going to be all of the different towns. So Harrisburg is a city. It's the capital of Pennsylvania, but there's a lot of other locations that are not the city that are considered Harrisburg. So for example, I grew up in Linglestown, which is in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So we had a Harrisburg address, but I'm a good bit out from the city. It would take us, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get into different parts of the city, and we're still a little bit further out. It's not in the same school district. It's a good bit away from it. It really was not city living at all. It was just out in the suburbs around the Central Dauphin School District area. So there are a lot of offsets and towns that you get whenever you're in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So you might say, hey, Colin, I'm looking to move to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'm going to say, wonderful, which area? And obviously, you probably won't know if you're relocating from out of state, which is okay. But if you've got a job that's in the area, we're going to, ask, hey, what zip code are you in? Around what school district is the area? So Harrisburg has a lot of towns that are off from the physical city, and most people who say they're moving to Harrisburg aren't actually moving to the city. They're moving to Linglestown, they're are moving to, around Union Deposit. They're looking to be in some of the different school districts around the area. Some people will even say New Cumberland is Harrisburg. Some people will even say close to Mechanicsburg is Harrisburg, just because if you're not familiar with the area, it's hard to say, hey, I'm moving to this town or this township or this school district. Now, let's talk about flood zones. So this kind of relates to the city again, where some of your properties, if you're looking at this map here along Front Street or some of the pictures that we have, you're going to be in a flood zone in some of the areas. The Susquehanna River runs right through Harrisburg, so you have that, which is going to cause some of your properties to need flood insurance if you're living along some of the historic areas or some of the areas that are built closer to the river, where you're going to need to carry some of your flood insurance. Flood insurance is not cheap, but don't let it scare you away, because just like the towns, most of your areas are not going to need flood insurance, especially if you're living a good bit outside of the city. Now that we talked about the Susquehanna River, let's talk about it. Let's talk about some of the activities and some of the stuff that's going there. You have some awesome areas and things to do around and actually using the Susquehanna River. A really cool fact is one of the islands in the Susquehanna River actually sold this past year. It was pretty cool. The Harrisburg City and Rural Development, I believe it was, were the ones that bought it. But it's just cool to be able to say, hey, I had an island that was sold near me, or I live in an area where an island was just sold. So that's kind of a cool fact, not really an activity. You're probably not going to be allowed to go visit it, but there are some smaller islands and stuff that people do actually own along and in the Susquehanna River. So now in the Susquehanna River, you're going to be able to go tubing, you're going to be able to go fishing, you're going to be able to take your boat out. And it's cool because you can be going through the river underneath all the bridges, seeing all of the historic sites and all of those things around there. It's just cool to have the river nearby and be able to have that body of water, since we're not by an ocean, or we're not, like Florida, where we're surrounded and on a peninsula where it's super easy to commute to a beach. It's cool to still be able to have your own body of water that you can utilize and still have those water activities. Along the Susquehanna River, you're also going to see City Island. So City Island is cool. That's where the Harrisburg Senators play. They are one of the minor league teams in the area, and you can go there, and they've got a lot of activities that you can do around the ballpark. They've got a lot of things outside of the ballpark that you can go to visit. People also go over there to be able to boat, or to be able to undock their boats and dock their boats and store it there for the winter or through the summer, where you're not able to use it too much, or you just need a place to keep it because you don't have something that loads right onto the Susquehanna River. So City Island is another cool thing that you have around that area also in regards to the Susquehanna River. Kind of going back into the towns, we're going to have to talk about some of the school districts. So some of the school districts can be completely different compared to one that you're right next to. Like, let's talk about Harrisburg City School. So you'll see, kind of like we were talking about some of the crime statistics where it's a little bit higher, sometimes the Harrisburg City schools with their school ratings can be a little bit lower, just based on location or based on testing and crime rates. So if you're looking to move to Harrisburg, don't let that Harrisburg City School rating trick you, because there's a lot of other options for you in the area. Like in Linglestown, where I grew up, we went to Central Dauphin High School. You've got Central Dauphin East High School, which is a completely different school district. You've got a lot of different options. Susquehanna Township High School, there's tons of different stuff. So don't get confused and think you're just going to be going to Harrisburg City. You're going to have multiple options whenever you're looking into the area. And kind of leading into jobs, you're going to have a lot of job opportunities in the area as well. We have certain clients that have moved to Harrisburg just strictly for jobs. We have a client that his home's on the market and closing here shortly, that we listed his home in Harrisburg City, where he moved from Puerto Rico because he had job opportunities here in Harrisburg to work. So you're going to have tons of options between working for the city, banking, in hospitals. There's a lot of hospitals between Hershey and Harrisburg. You've got a good bit of options. You're going to have a lot of construction and development work. There are tons of options, and you're also close to York and Lancaster, which have even more opportunities as well with combining everything together. if you're looking to move to Harrisburg, we would be super, super happy to help you relocate to the area. Again, my name is Collin Boyer, your Pennsylvania and Maryland Realtor. If we can help you out, send me a text, send me an email, or schedule directly down below in the link in my bio for a Zoom consultation. Make sure you follow me on all my social medias to keep up to date with what's going on in the area and our newest listings. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video.